Welcome to season 5 of Ignite Your Soul Connection. We are excited to bring you this year's conversation called The Tao of Masterforce. We have amazing guests lined up for you all this week, a couple of days that we've been on before, and on tomorrow as well. They're going to share with you a variety of conversations based on the curriculum of the Masterforce Life Coach Certification Program. Masterforce is a movement, a curriculum, and a process. This process has been in our community for 25 years now. The main intention was to assist young people in becoming self-actualized at a younger age. In the later years, it became apparent that parents needed just as much support so that they could move forward in their own lives as well. Thus, we created the Masterforce Life Coach Certification course. We now have certified close to 100 individuals in our metaphysical spiritual 16-week program. In this teleconference, we will share what we call our Masterforce Mobile Curriculum. So this reason that we're sharing this mobile curriculum is so that you can get an idea of who our coaches are and the difference that Masterforce makes in the community as a whole. This is our 5th conference that we are gifting to our community at no charge to you. And wow, I'm excited to be here. I am a Masterforce certified coach, and I started on my journey in 2011. And it has been wonderful being connected to doing this work. It has taken everything that I have already been working on and really moved it to a higher level. I'm super excited for the coaches that we have this evening that are going to be joining us. We're going to be sitting with Xavia. And look at this, we get to flip-flop because normally the times when I've been on any kind of a media outlet with you, you were interviewing and facilitating me. Now I get to return the favor. So I'm very excited
That's
about
how that works.
right? So we
Yes.
also have Shemsu-t. And Shemsu-t, you've been joining us all this week, and lots of fun for us to continue in the work that we're doing.
Yeah.
So, tonight's conversation, expert project. Okay, I'm counting. So, expert project. So, we were talking a little bit just in the introduction portion about the mobile curriculum. And I want to expand that just a little bit so that people that are not familiar with the work that we do can become clear. What are you talking about, Iccha Devi? You say this mobile curriculum. So Masterforce, with us being coaches, there are very specific practices that we utilize inside of our work with our clients and inside of our workshops. However, we are also very generous, and there is a gift that we share with everybody. And this is our MFC Mobile Curriculum. So the mobile curriculum consists of 3 of our flagship processes that really help to ground you inside of your core spiritual work. We know, being a metaphysical company, that we're here to literally actually do spiritual work. So in order to go into the conversation of grounding inside of that work, we offer the mobile curriculum. The mobile curriculum consists of Breathe to Center. It also consists of the life quadrants. And it also consists of the MAR technique. So these 3 different techniques we've talked about all this week leading up to today. So you're actually getting kind of a flow for how we move inside of our certification and inside of working with our clients. So the Breathe to Center, best gift ever. Because we know that when we breathe and that when we utilize our breath from a deeply consciously connected place, I can see that I broke up a little bit. What was the last thing you heard?
Deeply conscious and connected place.
There we go. So from a deeply conscious and connected place, when we share our breath from there, we can stay grounded. We can literally heal our bodies. We literally have access to the universal mind and universal energy to be able to be present inside of our lives every day and inside of what's actually happening. So breathe to center is what enlivens our avatar, our body. So then we move from there into the life quadrants. The life quadrants: mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. And what this does, it gives us literally an opportunity to balance our life in each moment. When we look at the education that a majority of us receive, all of us, it is 90% mental. Reading, writing, and all of those different types of things stimulate our mental capacity. We have emotional ability to learn, we have spiritual ability to learn, and we have a physical ability to learn. So when we look at our life inside of the life quadrant, we can literally balance our energy, becoming present with ourselves in all four of those different areas. So from a standpoint of education, from a standpoint of everyday life, I would think to myself and balancing, Iccha Devi, how did you spend your day? Did you give yourself enough mental stimulation? Well, that normally is never a problem in our society, right? Even though I don't have a TV, still, that's not a problem in our society. I have my YouTube videos playing, listening to music, etc. So I know I've given myself enough mental. Do you know how you're feeling emotionally? Yes, in this moment I feel quite joyful and tranquil. All right? So then physically, have you given yourself enough physical attention? Is your physicality, your body being cared for? Well, hello. I have a warm, tasty beverage because I'm going to be chatting with you guys for 90 minutes. And I also have some fresh alkaline water, right? Okay? And I have nutrients inside of my water. So that's making sure that I have an intimacy with my avatar, with my body, that lets me know, yes, my body feels grounded, I feel good, right? And then we go into the spiritual. Have you given yourself some time for silence today? Absolutely, I have. I'm grateful that I have. And I also made sure that I climbed a couple of extra flights of stairs today to help keep my body moving. So back to the physical and yes, on to the spiritual. Yeah, so mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, we use the life quadrant. That's what we call that, to make sure that we are balanced in our everyday. We also call it MEPS. So that's 1 and 2 inside the mobile curriculum. So then 3, we move into Mars. Okay, can you have a favorite? They're all my favorite. The Marv technique is a technique that we utilize to help us ground inside of the creative process for ourselves. So what does that mean? We recognize that we are co-creators in everything that we experience in our lives, right? So if we have a desire to create something in manifest reality, in our reality here, then we utilize the Marv technique, or we Marv it, as we say, right? And this works for balancing things as well as creating things. So in the Marv technique, I would say that I am open to creating, loving, passionate, reciprocal love. And then I would meditate inside of that. It's an acronym. The M is for meditate, the meditation. The A is for affirmation. The R is for relaxation. And the V is for visualization. So then let me take you back, okay? So that's the acronym, and that's what they stand for. And so inside of the creative process, I would go into my meditation. And inside of that, knowing what it is that I am going to create, I would create affirmations that support that, right? And so what we also know when we do the work is that when you create affirmations and affirm in your life, everything that's contrary to that shows up so that you can become present to what needs to be released so you can actually hold what it is that you're creating, right? So therein lies the relaxation. I love the relaxation, number one, because I'm very good at relaxing. Yay. And number two, because it is mightily important. This is where I say a lot of people sometimes get lost in the desert because they're saying, I said that I'm creating, loving reciprocal relationships. Everything other than that is showing up. Good job. That means relax and allow the universe to take care of you. Allow yourself to relax inside of the affirming of what you're creating. Okay? And then we go into the visualization. Our visual acuity here in our third eye, one of the greatest gifts. Breathing, greatest gift. Visual acuity, greatest gift. But yes, it is one of the greatest gifts that we have at our disposal because literally what you can see in your inner vision, you can create in your manifest reality. So we're meditating, create an affirmation to support what we are creating. We relax inside of knowing that, yes, this is what I am open to and this is what the universe is bringing forward. And then we spend time inside of the visualization. We vibrate our vision so that we allow it to come right into us and into our space. So you can see right away, yes, we are quite generous. You get this mobile curriculum that I've just shared with you. If you listen to this over again, you can sit down, write a couple things out, breathe yourself to center, listen to Monday night, Wednesday night, you can listen to what we talked about in the life quadrants and the Mars, and you can set yourself on course for this solstice, right? What you think?
Yes. Yes,
Absolutely.
and that's exactly why we actually started doing Ignite Your Soul Connection in 2011, so that at the solstice, people would have enough information to connect to their soul, to just slow down and get out of the hustle and bustle of the shopping that we've been conditioned to do, and take time to align ourselves with the energy of the universe and with ourselves. So that was very good, Iccha. Thank you. What did you think, Xavia?
I thought that was great, especially when you start to talk about Marv. That was always my favorite one, especially the relaxation part. But I've also really, as of late, really gotten into the visualization part. One of the workshops I've been working on that I'll talk about later really goes into the visualization part. So, yeah, of course, I love Marv.
Very cool.
I love Marv as well. So as you can see, I can't hide my exuberance, and who wants to? What for? Um, I want us to jump into tonight's conversation because there are a lot of wonderful parts that we'll have an opportunity to share inside of tonight's conversation, which is the Expert Project. Now, the Expert Project is a part of our certification course where each of the coaches that are sitting for their certification, they go through a process to get an actual expert project. So Shemsu, please tell us, what is an expert project?
I think Xavia, that was one of her favorite questions. What is an expert project?
It was. I'm like, what? What am I
So,
supposed to do?
right, and it's very exciting to look at this work, because the expert project can be likened to when you're doing a master's program, or when you're doing a PhD, a dissertation. You usually have to do some research inside of a topic that you want to have some expertise in. So what we do is we create a process where the coaches who are in the course, they have to draw from a list of topics. They have to draw 2 topics to determine what it is their soul would like to study, because we have a very soulific way to do this. So when they draw the particular topic, it usually is something that is aligned with them. They're like, wow, this is exactly what I wanted to learn. So this came about because in my own personal practice over the last 25 years or so, every summer I would study at least 1 or 2 topics, whether it was something new in the metaphysical world or whether it was something in nutrition and healing I wanted to learn. I would study this so that every year I was expanding inside of how to nurture and take care of myself and my clients. So the expert project inside of the course is designed to get the coaches used to studying and developing their own level of expertise so that they can have a better way of introducing work to their clients and supporting them as they move forward. Does that answer your question?
It absolutely does. It really puts a lot of context around it, and it makes that very, very clear. Now, the thing that's interesting is this: Xavia, as a coach that was going through the process of being certified and then being introduced to this concept, what was that like for you?
Well, initially it was slightly intimidating, and I'm not easily intimidated, but it was slightly intimidating because I wasn't actually sure. As we go through the process of choosing the expert project, some things, one of my topics was emotional freedom technique, and so I was totally not familiar with it at all. So, as you get your topics, it's like, okay, I'm going to become an expert in this. However, as okay, see, I always mess it up, so I'm just going to say move.
You can do move.
Just say move. As she stated, it's what your soul chooses. Now, the second part of my expert project was sacred sexuality. Now, I was all in on that. But the other part I wasn't familiar with. However, as I got to learn more about it, I became more interested. And as a matter of fact, I'm still, and when I graduated a while ago, it was summertime still, I am still studying different parts of my expert project because I just have gotten so interested in it. I keep going deeper and deeper. So the expert projects really open you up. And once you allow it, you have to allow the universe to do what it's going to do with you. And once you start to allow those things to happen, it's like your passion comes out. It's almost like completing yourself almost. That's kind of what I did through this course. I felt like I was being completed. So that's where the expert project took me.
Wow, that is really powerful, and I really like what you're saying. One of the concepts that we've been sharing throughout this current conference, Ignite Your Soul Connection 5, is the point that we literally are practitioners versus philosophers. And so what that means is that we literally take all of the processes and the techniques and tools and we put them into practice. So I like what you said, because you were saying that you experience and we're igniting your soul connection. You experience an igniting of your passion, and
yes.
You also said that you felt like you were completing. That is really, that's wonderful, because one of the ways that we grow is by going through and doing this work. We grow so much when we're open to the process.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So these various techniques and tools are placed in so that we have an opportunity to grow even more. So yeah, I love how you shared that. That's really connective. Yes.
It's so interesting too that you say that, Xavia, because EFT, and I believe you have started utilizing it a little more now, I believe, right? A little bit more.
Yes.
And it's one of those. It's just such an amazing technology to have, that you can actually shift energy in your body that may have been grounded there since you were a child, right? Since you were even in the womb, that you can use this process to move that energy, to shift that energy so that you can create something different for yourself, or different outcomes for yourself. I mean, can you imagine people who are afraid and they don't know how to address that? But in the moment, if you can teach them how to tap certain areas of their body, they can address it in seconds. So that information in our community is so needed. So now I believe we probably have at least, I want to say at least 7 or 8 coaches that have that expert project. So can you get the usefulness of that?
Oh, definitely. As I studied it and read more, now, of course, I'm going to be very honest because you know who I am. I'm just going to be
Yes,
honest. When I
yes,
initially started reading, I'm like, okay, now this is a little far. We're going to tap.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
we're going to, but as I read more about what it does as far as, I want to say loosening because I don't have a better word to use right now, but to freeing some of the things that are stored in there just to loosen you up and so that you're able to deal with stuff that like you said that is stored from childhood, from before birth, things that we don't know is in there that we have to deal with. And people being able to get someone to open up and try different things
Yeah.
is probably our biggest obstacle to overcome. Even as coaches, learning the different things, when it's presented to you, sometimes you're like, really? But then the more that you learn, you just have to totally be open to the process if you really want to make it to that next level. In a lot of my workshops, I refer to your next level of life. And in order to get to that next level, you have to do something different than you've been doing. You really have to open your mind to it. And I'm really thankful that I, am kind of open-minded. I'm a little hesitant sometimes, like most people. But, because I have that energy that a lot of people can relate to, because nobody just hops right into something that you are not familiar with. But the benefits are so rewarding until, I'm just like, okay, it can't hurt you to try it. Just open up to receive it. So, yeah, tapping has been quite interesting. And as I have, tried to get the whole process down myself, I've done it myself several times. But as I get the whole process down and share it with my family,
Yes.
because they tend to think I'm a little crazy sometimes. But, I have my daughters and things getting into it. So it's definitely a process. And I use it in a workshop in connection with the sacred sexuality. I have
Yes.
a workshop called Achieving Sexual Freedom.
Yes.
So I have truly connected the two as you gave me my expert project to do so.
Yes, and that is wonderful. I'm looking at both the energy of you and of Iccha, and I'm envisioning you with your clients, and I'm envisioning a client who may be a little rigid, a little fearful of something new, and to have someone like the two of you, to have someone like you there to support them in trying on something that is so useful to them. I mean, that in itself is very inspiring. Because they will have, it's one thing to have to try something by yourself, but
Right.
it's another to have someone to support you, to coach you through it, and to do it with you.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I really appreciate, and I've said this several times to friends and family. One of the things that I appreciated when going through the course was the fact that you guys actually made us go through the course. I was the one crying on the calls and stuff as you took me through, different steps, and I'm not the crier, you know how that works. So I really appreciate, because having experienced it, I know what my clients are thinking, what
Yeah.
they're going through. I can relate to them because I didn't just learn, the skills or the techniques. I actually experienced the whole process myself, and I think that that's the best way to do it.
Very
Wow.
good.
I absolutely can relate to that. And I know from experience on both sides of the learning that that is really, really helpful to people. One of the areas that I know that I am helpful to my clients in is that, just like you said, Xavier, I have such an openness about me, and I'm willing to keep it 100 with them. Because I will tell you honestly, I am familiar with the EFT, the Emotional Freedom Technique. And for those of you all that don't know, basically it's a system that you utilize tapping on the different meridian points and stating affirmations at the same time to release different kinds of trauma in the body, and then to reset with new affirmations of what it is, that you want to create. So if you're afraid of something, you affirm that it's okay that you're afraid and that you know that you're afraid. And then you do another round and you tap on those same points and you affirm that I trust the process of the universe or whatever it is that you're wanting to put in place of that. And so in my first encounter with it, I was, Shemsu-t, you'll be happy to hear me say this out my own mouth. I was very resistant. I was quite resistant to that, right?
Right, right.
And because I didn't have a context for it, and there was just a resistance in me for whatever reason. And so I connected it to another incident. It became clear to me that we utilize all spiritual principles because spirituality and spiritual principles are neutral. Just like I always like to say about gravity. Gravity is going to make the pin drop regardless of whether, no matter what, because it is a universal principle. So when we look at
Exactly.
these different energies of utilizing the different points and meridians for releasing, I recognize that we have used it already. When you physically hit someone and then you affirm something as you're beating someone, spanking a child. And really, actually, it is the same programming. And I
Oh
tell
my.
you not to this, that, and the third. These are
They didn't tell me that area was for tapping, though.
exactly right. But these meridians exist all over the body. You see me drawing out the you see me drawing out the example that this literally is a process that takes place on the meridian points, and when you apply pressure and affirmation, you create a conditioned response or a shift in the vibratory energy. And so the same ways that we have utilized things that have not been that have taught us things on our path, we can also utilize things to ascend us on our path. So when I looked at it that way, when I find people that I know honestly are experiencing the resistance that I am, and I ask them, I said, now I know I sent you the tapping video. Did you do it? And I tell them, please tell me the truth. They're like, no, I didn't do it. And I'm like, it's a little too hokey for you, isn't it? And because I can feel it in their energy, and they'll say
Mm-hmm.
it. And I'll say,
Mm-hmm.
I felt the same way. But this is the thing. You only, like you said, experience something different when you do something different. If
Mm-hmm.
you desire something that you've never had, you have to do something that you have never done.
That's right.
So if what you're doing is working for you, all right. But the reason why you're sitting with a coach is because it is not. So let us
Exactly.
try something different together. And so, we do, there is one that I know that people can connect with easily. So we start there. And it's one that's very short and it's a positive round of tapping. And so we go through and we do that. And a lot of times that opens people up. Because I would tell you the breakthrough, even though I have done it, the real breakthrough came when we, as a group of coaches and and mentored us through a process of just doing this technique for 21 days, morning and evening. When I committed to that and actually did it morning and evening, I experienced breakthroughs like I had never experienced before. And matter of fact, I'm grateful that I'm saying that. Go ahead and write that down on my list. Solstice is coming. May as well head on in for another round of that because I really enjoyed that.
That was really, I remember that. And I just want to go through the list a little bit of some of the expert projects. Can I do that? Would that be
I
okay with the
would love that. I was thinking that myself.
Okay, so EFT, NLP, which is neuralistic programming, Bach flower, meditation, visualization, ascension, wealth consciousness, high quality nutrition, stress management, couples, frequency healing, I'm sorry, frequency healing, young people, feng shui, traditional Chinese medicine, breathing, families, galactic seeds, destiny cards, affirmation, sacred sexuality, oracles, and 13 sun astrology.
That's exciting. That's mightily exciting because I will tell you for myself that like it feels like little effervescent stars, like so many options to pick from. This conference specifically is very dear to my heart, and the reason why is because in 2011 I went through the Master Force certification program, and my two topics were nutritional healing and Bach flower. And so one of the things that ended up happening is that Shemsu-t said, we are going to do Ignite Your Soul Connection. And so to fulfill part of your, or to fulfill your expert project, if you like, you can come on and be a part of the conversation and talk inside of your expert project. And oh my goodness, I was so nervous. New coach, and well, I wasn't a coach yet, but newly certified, newly certifying coach in the Master Coach program. And
Yes.
Man, that night literally changed my life. Being on the program and sharing inside of the Bach flower, sharing as we do inside of my own personal story from a place of empowerment, and then sharing wisdom that I felt that people would be able to utilize, to move themselves forward. That was really wonderful. And the gift is that it is literally still available.
Yes.
So we
I
have.
was just thinking that we actually include your segment now in the course.
Oh my God.
Yes, we include. We actually have who's ever going through the course. We do have them listen to the Bach flower remedy lecture that you do when we do the learning quadrants, and we're learning how to heal our body based on the life quadrants.
That is so powerful, and then we also have it available on the Master Force. Excuse me, the Ignite Your Soul Connection website. So
Yes.
in our first year in 2011, we did a whole 3 weeks of talks.
Yes.
So literally, if you go through what we have out there already available between the Ignite Your Soul Connection talks and what we're sharing this evening to add to that, and then the mobile curriculum and so forth, you can take a lot of initiative to make some changes in your own life. And then if you find that you need additional help, then you can, of course, reach out to the coaching community here at Master Force. However, there's so much that you can do inside of what we shared. I'm excited about that. because I think I know that I like to find resources, and Shemsu-t, that's something that you and I do. We attend YouTube University, as we call it,
I
right?
do too. As a matter of fact, I do
Okay, so
too.
we're all alumni of YouTube University, PhDs in tow,
You
and
know,
we go ahead.
I just wanted to say one of the things that I also like about the expert projects is the fact that we all get a different one. So not only does it allow us to have a little bit of something different than the next coach, but it also allows us to interact with each other, because if you are an expert in the Bach flower to heal the body, and I'm an expert in this, and so we can actually all have a conference, and we can all bring something different to the table. So I like the way that it defines each coach. That's a great thing.
Yes.
I love that myself. I'm grateful that you shared that, and I know you have a goodie to share later with everybody, because these three girls that are on this call are going to actually be participating in something that you're creating later, and we'll share that
Yes.
towards the end. So everybody stay around, because we're going to be talking about an offering that Xavia is doing in the spring that all of us, actually myself and Shemsu-t, are a part of. So yes, and inside of all of the different areas of expertise that people can give, like you said, Xavier, it really can ignite your inner passion. And I know, like you said, Mushin Su, that it's what our souls are calling for. Because I know that during the time when I was getting my certification, those were the two things that I actually needed. I actually still even have my box flower. I have this one. This is my chest. Excuse me. This one is my crab apple, and I have been utilizing this one lately. Just still working inside of the conversation of nurturing my avatar from a deeper level inside of this gentle frequency of the Bach flower. I see Mushim Su going in. I go
I have some oak right here. You know, this
okay.
tree is stand firm and tall, and I need to learn how to play and have fun every now and then.
Mhm. The crab apple is help for acceptance of your avatar just the way it is. And
Yes.
so with the nutritional healing and being inside of the vibration of doing this work, my avatar has shifted quite a bit from the time that I got my certification. And I recognize that part of the deeper work inside of shifting our avatar, so my avatar was a fluffier version of the one that I have now. And inside of that work, what it really is love and acceptance, deep
Mhm.
self love. And so I consistently still stay in that process because it's an ongoing work that we do.
It is.
So that's one
Very.
reason why I love the expert projects, because, like you said, Moo, our soul really calls for what we need at the time, and it gives us a way to move inside of an expertise that we could share with our clients, but that's going to nurture us first.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's very exciting. So, man, how many topics is that? Because I was trying to write some of them down. That's
Well,
like,
it's more topics than that because it depends on how many people are in the class. So because we if we have 20 in the class, then there are 40 topics. So
mhm.
I don't think we said hypnosis. There are quite a few that
Yeah.
we did say that need to be dealt with. I mean, we need to energy healing. There are so many ways that we can nurture and support ourselves and our community and each other um, without going to Western medicine, you know,
Right.
and really heal and really take care, from a natural state, right? So that's what the purpose is so that we can get that exposure.
Wow. I really, really love that. And Mushim, I am really excited to know when you were creating the curriculum. And I know you just touched on it a little bit, but if you could even deepen into it a little bit more, this technique, this expert project, why did you say, okay, this is going to be a part of it? So share from that space again, please.
Yeah, so it was when Xavier made the point about how she was reluctant, she was resistant. You said it too. You were resistant to try on the topic. But then after you did, you realized how beneficial it was to you. And then Xavier said, I shared it with my family. They think I'm crazy anyway. So, I might as well, right? I might as well share it, right? So now you've taken a topic that you didn't know anything about, right? You learned it for yourself, you found it beneficial, and then you shared it with someone close to you. Now you've expanded your knowledge and you've expanded your expertise, because every time you learn something and you apply it to yourself and then you teach it, you've now begun to practice and develop your expertise. So the expert project gives you an opportunity to learn more. We have been trained in our society to learn from the standpoint of reward and punishment, right? So I'm not going to learn anything, why? Unless somebody pay me for it, unless I'm going to make money with it, unless I get a degree, unless I get some kind of accolade, right? Well, you're telling me that you're going to spend 8 hours a day, every day, watching television after you come from work, instead of taking time to learn something that can benefit you. In the conversation that people have of being bored, I can't even conceive of that. It's so much more to know and to do. So we use the expert project to expose the coaches. So if you have 20 coaches in the class and everybody's pulling 2 topics, you now have 40 topics, and everybody does share what they're learning. So when Xavier Fox, when you got what was sexual, what was it?
Sacred sexuality.
Yeah,
and
sacred sexuality.
EFT.
You were like, oh, this is right up my
Now that one was right on point. Yes,
you
matter of
know.
fact, I was just reading some more stuff and watching some YouTube University on it just the other day. Yes.
Now
That was
imagine that, and me knowing your personality and the person that you are, I already know we're going to have some YouTube videos with you sharing with people, couples, women, or whatever, how to use that energy in a very nurturing and loving space inside of coupleship. You see that? So
most
that,
definitely.
yeah. Now, I don't know if you would have got to that without this.
Probably not. I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I
So
probably
that's
wouldn't have.
why we do the expert project, so that we can keep exposing, our community, each other, and just to know it's more things out there to heal us. Sex is a very healing force, it's a very
Yes, it
nurturing
is.
force, and we have not been taught. Most people are not even using sex the correct
They're
way.
not at all.
Not
Because
at all.
first of all, we're taught that it's bad. The first thing what
Do you
happens
want to
is
go
when a
ahead
baby touches
and
stuff, they slap
elaborate
their
on this
hands.
topic? Dr. Fox, you want to elaborate on that topic now that we put it out there?
What, the sacred section? Well, I was
Yeah.
just saying it's a way of combining your sexuality with your spirituality, and once you get to that place, you actually are at a healing place, where you can heal yourself. But that's not what we typically think of sex as being about. And then, of course, I've gotten into learning about the Kundalini and all of that stuff. Once you open up your mind to learn different things, there's so much to learn. You start in one spot and you wind up in another spot that builds on where you were. So sacred sexuality, I was reading one thing that said that sacred is just a new way to get our attention, that we've been using it the wrong way. So in sacred sexuality, it's more of a spiritual connection. I've definitely gone into Kama Sutra and tantric sex, and of course the Kundalini and things like that. So I'm really excited. I'm actually putting together a workshop on it, It's actually a three-part workshop, and I'm looking forward to definitely sharing that with either women's groups or couples. You know, of course, I want to learn couples school too, but I want to get all that stuff together. But definitely, sacred sexuality has opened me up to a lot of different understanding of what sex can be. Because, you know, you said sex, and I was like, all right, let's go.
Right.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Shemsu-t, I love what you were sharing. And couples school is such a magnificent gift because part of what we talked about in one of our conferences is we did talk about sacred sexuality, and we talked about the I think we called it the Tao of sexuality. I think we did. In one of the conferences, we talked deeply about that.
Yes, yes. You know, the book is by Daniel Reed, and it's called The Tao of Sex, Health, and Longevity. That's
Okay.
what it is, The Tao of Health, Sex, and Longevity. And it really puts into perspective, I believe the conference that we were discussing, we were actually interested in making sure that the men in our circle knew that when you ejaculate in the wintertime, you actually diminish your life force,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Wow.
So, yes. And Queen Afua, she has a wonderful book where she talks about this at length. And so for us, what we're saying is, women, when you know this, when you understand that information, then you can support your mate. If you're not aware of it, then what you tend to do is you tend to drain his life force.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're not a helpmate anymore. You're lessening the energy, right? And
That's
so,
very powerful.
yeah. So what we're and I speak about this in my latest book, The New Goddess Agenda. You know, as healers, that's one of our number one responsibilities, to be able to heal and nurture our mate, our children, and we're the real Dr. Mom.
I
We
love
don't need to
that.
run out. Yeah, we don't need to run out to the hospital and emergency rooms. We
So,
really have to learn. Go ahead.
so you said that when a man, see, I haven't found that part out yet. So when a
Okay.
man ejaculates in the winter time, it
Yeah.
drains his
It
life force.
depletes his life force, yes, ma'am.
So
Even
I,
more so. Even more so. Actually, every time he ejaculates, he every time he ejaculates, he drains his life force. It's even more so in the winter time.
wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
I'm
so
glad
many
I'm moving to
processes.
Florida. That should
Yeah.
be a good thing.
You're glad you're moving to Florida. I love that. We talked about it actually in two different places. When we did the first year of Ignite Your Soul Connection, Walter Beckley, I believe, talked
Yes,
about that
Walter
very
Beckley.
specifically in his talk. And then when we did relationships in the age of Aquarius, that's
Yeah.
where we were touching on that. And I can remember, people can go back and listen to that. I shared that there is an elixir that you can create as a woman for your mate to help to
Yeah.
replenish him after you all have been inside of your love conversation with each other, to help to replenish his energy and to help you all to come back to yourselves. And so there are foods and there are beverages that can help to nurture that. But then also inside of that work, there's learning how to withhold from doing an ejaculation altogether. It's called an injaculation. And of course, this is what a practice looks like versus, like you said, if we say in the conversation, this is bad, this is good, we never get to the conversation of healing. We never get to the conversation of the connectedness and how we can move forward inside of that with our mate. So when we draw into a higher conversation, because you could go back and forth as to whether or not something is right or wrong, that's immaterial when you look at the fact that there's another conversation to be had, and that is one of healing and nurturing. inside
Mhm.
of that. So I like how we've taken really a left inside of this conversation. I do want to mention something else that I love that you said, Shemsu, and it's about when you were talking about why you added this concept inside of the certification course was so that we could deepen our own learning and mastery and realize that every time we learn something new, I like knowing about how our mind works. We create new myelin shafts inside of our brain. So we literally, it's like our brain is growing because we're creating more highways and freeways for information to move around when we learn something new. Every time we learn something new. And so when we go deeply into this work, we are accessing our genius at even a higher level. We keep talking about ascension. This is some of that energy.
You know, that's very good that you can acknowledge that, Iccha, because we have been taught to know, right? You're rewarded for what you know.
Mhm.
And what's challenging about that is that people want to be known for what they know instead of using what they know, right? It's like you can know a whole lot, but can you produce a result? Can you change the quality of your life? You're telling me that we have more people with PhDs and master's degrees, but they're begging people for jobs, right? Why
Yep.
would you have to beg somebody for a job if you have high quality knowledge? The fact that you have knowledge means that you have the ability to create from scratch. You can
Absolutely.
create from scratch. You can create. So for me, the more education you have, then you have the ability to create jobs for other people. But you first have to create that for yourself.
Mhm.
That's
So the education that we do at Masterforce is about self-actualization. It's not about just getting knowledge for the sake of knowing something. And we really support one another in staying inside the conversation of the beginner's mind. I take the back seat quite often when all of you start producing your courses. I come in as a student and I continue to learn. I continue to allow myself to be expanded. And a lot of people in leadership roles, they just stay the leader. They just stay the teacher. They don't allow themselves to be replenished and nurtured. So this is one of the excitements about having Master Force in the conversation of self-mastery. So can you hear that? The two of you, can you hear that?
I
Yes.
absolutely can. It's very important. I love what you said, the beginner's mind, because as a person who, as a little person, was rewarded very much for things that I would know. Then I
Yeah.
began to get inside of that conversation that you talked about a little bit earlier, in which we conditioned little people to go for reward or to shy away from punishment, but not to seek learning as its own reward. And so when
Yes.
I started to get to the point where I wanted to be open to the love of learning and
Yeah.
to be open to be a practitioner of that which I know. Because the thing that I know for sure is that unless it shapes your movement, you don't know it. You may know some facts or concepts, but unless it's literally shaping your life and how you move in your existence, it's just philosophy. And the way that I like to remind myself is because I am a Renaissance woman, so I do many things. And
Mhm.
so I am a chef and I have created my own persona inside of the reluctant vegetarian and created a business inside of that. But chef, head chef, becomes sous chef. That's how you learn differently. And I have to admit that I got very clear about that observing Mushin Soup. Because a lot of times if I was doing an event, she would say, oh, well, I'll just come and help you. And I observed the way that she helped me. And so then I saw how I would help people when they would ask me to help them in the kitchen. And it was hell for them. It was,
yeah, well, I was actually just stealing some recipes. You know that.
I wanted to say something about that whole learning process as far as learning
Yeah.
as a beginner. One of the things that I have learned, actually going through the course has opened me up to a lot of things. You opened me up to a lot of different things, but one of the things that I've started to look at is really a lot of the social conditioning that we go through in the learning process, in the standard stuff that we get in school. And the learning process is not for you to gain knowledge necessarily. It is definitely directed so that you can get a job and work hard for someone else. So when you talk about the people with the PhDs and all that stuff, they are not conditioned, most of them are not conditioned to necessarily start their own and create the jobs, especially in our communities. They're conditioned to get that piece of paper so that they can supposedly be independent, yet we are not independent. You get that PhD just so that you can say that you have that, so that you can work hard for somebody else to make somebody else a lot of money. So, we have to break that whole understanding of what educating yourself is really about, because educating yourself is not about getting all of those little letters behind your name. It's really about expanding your knowledge and connecting with your spirit so that you can grow within your passion and move to that next level. It's not about the PhD and, oh, I'm going to make this amount of money this year. You can make that amount of money anyway. Once you find your passion, you're going to grow in life, and that money is going to come. You don't have to focus on the money, but we're so focused on getting the education and making the money. If I get a PhD, I can make 6 figures starting with a 3, whatever, as opposed to really growing spiritually and learning what your journey on this mission is about. That's what most people don't get, that this is a journey and it's going to lead to another journey. It's not, you can't take that PhD with you.
I'm going to start calling you Reverend Dr. Fox.
Well, you know what? I have a spirituality workshop too.
I love that, Reverend Dr. Fox. I absolutely love that. Wow, there's so many pieces to the work that we're doing. I love what you said, Xavia, about the fact that we're literally here on a journey. Our job is inside of our spirit, and it's inside spirit elevation, learning core lessons deep inside of your spirit that transcend what we have here on this planet. It's fun to learn the lessons of this world as well. However, our job, our actual job, when I used to work for a phone company, people say, what's your job? Oh, I'm a repair clerk, I'm a this, I'm a that. But the true purpose is that I'm a love practitioner. I literally was born to represent the love of the Creator on the planet. So the more that I feel loving, I know I'm moving towards that. The less that I feel loving, I need to check in, do my MEPs, and see what's going on. So when we look at it, when we're in our passion and what we're here to do, absolutely it will result in success in this, material world. However, the first success is really being grounded inside of who we are as spirit beings, inside of the work that we're here to do, inside of loving each other, being connected and interdependent with each other, and moving everything to the level of love. When we talk about we are ascending, what we mean inside of that is that everything that we experience is for our spiritual growth. And so therefore, no matter what it is, we will do the work to bring it to the vibration of love. And we have experienced some things in our lives, physical violence, different types of car crash. My legs were crushed. They was going to cut it off. She broke her hip, thigh, and knee, and, been in mental institutions, strapped down, all kinds of things. And when we tell our stories, we tell them from an understanding of the fact that our soul literally required that we have those experiences so that we could grow in our soul, right? Because I like what you say, there's nothing temporal in this world that we'll be able to take with us on our journey. Our soul will hold all the lessons inside as we move on to whatever our next adventure is. you
That's
know?
exactly right. Yep, I agree.
So, Xavier, I was curious, what had you actually um, decide a request, but what had you really take on the Master Force course? What was there that made you feel like that would be a good move for you? And then after doing that, what's the difference that you see?
Oh my, that's a big old question. Um, a couple years ago, I went through some emotional stuff. Um, I experienced my first heartbreak, and so I was talking to God one day, and I said, okay, I really don't, because I moved to Chicago for this particular experience, because we have to go through our experiences, and I moved to Chicago for this experience, and so once I went through it, I'm like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing here. I said, but apparently there's a reason for it. So I am going to um, take advantage of every opportunity that comes my way because I don't really know why you have me here. I was supposed to be in Vegas. And so then along comes this guy, and I changed my whole mind about what I was going to do. And, just so I was really open to whatever came my way because I wasn't sure at that point. I raised my kids. I had sold my business because, I was self-employed for 12 years as a corporate event planner. So I sold my business, moved to Chicago, and now here I am with no kids, no relationship, and have no clue what's going on. And so as things unfolded, I met you at an event, and you and I just really clicked, and I didn't know why. It just happened. I'm like, she's really cool. Something about her vibe. I don't know what it is. And so we stayed connected. And so when the opportunity presented itself, I'm like, okay, because I had gotten into, relationships and kind of given advice more so than coaching, I think. However, I was along the line, I was on that route, but I needed to be tweaked. So of course the universe lines you up with, what is it when you're ready, the teacher will appear. So you
Yeah.
appeared. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear, and so you appeared. And so it was really a no-brainer. When you said that, I was like, well, most definitely I will do that. And the thing about it is, prior to that, there was so many people coming up with this life coach title, and so I was just so okay. Everybody and their mama is a life coach now. However, going through the course, as I said, because one of the things I like with Master Force is that we actually went through coaching ourselves, so that you actually experienced that, and it really opened me up to understanding a lot. And I still take myself through some of the processes because I deal with different things, and I'm really into the law of attraction now, and so
Yes.
a lot of the things that I've been conditioned, because you know what? Do you know people really don't think they've been conditioned? I'm like, how do you, did anybody ever tell you anything? Did you go to a church? Did you go to a school? Did your parents pass down some stuff? You have been conditioned. And I don't really argue with people anymore. I still like to debate every once in a while, but not quite as much as I used to. I guess that's that Leo. We like to debate every once in a while. But when you learn how deep the conditioning goes in your life, because I went to a Lutheran grade school, so from kindergarten through 8th grade, I was in a Lutheran school, so I was really conditioned all up. I just, it's amazing that I am here at this point in my life, but this is where I'm supposed to be. I don't mean here as far as alive. I mean that I was able to open my mind, to this point, because we are all conditioned, and once you realize that, then you can almost start to break free of some of that and actually figure out where you're supposed to be, versus where people have told you you're supposed to be, and they've told you what you're supposed to do. You can actually find your own spirit, get in touch with your own spirituality. So how I got involved and why I was open to it was because I had made that promise to myself, to God, life force, energy of the universe, whatever you want to call it, that I would take advantage of the opportunities that come my way. So in essence, without knowing the law of attraction at that time, I was saying I was open to receive what the universe was going to bring.
Wow.
So
That's huge.
that's how I wound up here, and I am so grateful. I mean, I am still me, but I feel so different. I was just telling a friend last night, once you really get in touch with yourself, your spirit, and you actually find your passion and you can live through and follow what the universe opens up for you, it's like freeing. I feel so free.
Yes.
I feel so free, and it's a great thing.
Very good. You articulated that very well. Thank you. Thank
I'm so glad you chose to listen. It's such a joy to know you. I remember the first time that I really encountered you was on your radio show, and I was like, wow, she is really fabulous. And then when I found out that you were going to be taking the certification course, I said, well, this is going to be joy, pure joy.
you. Yes.
It
Yeah.
was joy for me. Well, it was tough. I mean, that last, the final exam, that case study. When I got the case study, I'm like, what the heck?
It's so interesting because my gift is developing curriculum, right? So when people take the course, they're like, man, I didn't know this was going to be a real
Right,
course.
right, right.
I didn't know this was going to be a real test. And I didn't know that I was going to be great.
You come
It's
up
like,
with
yeah,
some
well, that's what
stuff.
we do. It is, right.
It was really great. But yeah, that final, and I know that there was just a class that graduated, and one of the young ladies that came out, she was very happy that she finally just like, I'm official. I got 100. I'm like, all right, yeah, 'cause
Right.
That's
I
so
know
funny.
I know how that works. You are happy
Well,
once you hit send, then it's like,
just so
okay,
you
they're
know,
done.
I'm still grading. Yeah, I'm grading courses this week. I have a few more to do. So every day I'm allowing myself time to grade two because this is kind of like a busy week. So I want to make sure that I give everyone their attention for because it's work on this side too, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it is. But it's definitely a very fulfilling course, and I think that we are trained not only to help others. Oh, one of the things I want to say, previously I was doing the relationship and giving advice, but I think that after taking the class, that elevated what I'm able to offer someone to a whole other level. Because as I've told many friends, coaches don't give advice. We help you get to the root of because I can give you advice all day. I've been through some stuff. I can give you advice all day, but to help you really eliminate your problem, to
Yep.
take you to where it comes from, that's when you need some skill and some training to actually go in there and do that work, and open a person up to that. Because that master teacher, that's a heck of a place to go.
I was just doing master teacher work last night with because we always with each other, and sometimes we just like, listen, this is what's going on, and we have to go in with each other, right?
Yes.
Ooh,
Wow.
I have
That
two
is,
girlfriends that I really, see, the thing is, for me to go into master teacher, I really do need to get that hourly fee. But I have two girlfriends that
Exactly,
that
you do.
I really want to take in there because
Yes.
they definitely are having some issues, and I really want to take them in there. I'm I'm almost afraid to find out what's going to be in there once I get there. But yeah, that master teacher, that is definitely no joke, and that will definitely open up a lot of stuff. Matter of
And
fact,
get
that was
your
one of my
hourly,
favorites.
yeah, get your hourly fee definitely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we breathe through all things. That's why that's the first part of everything that we do. We breathe to center. Everything that shows up, we breathe it right on through.
Yep.
And I love what you shared about how you could just feel that you were ready for the next step of what your soul's ascension was. And I know that that was absolutely the case for me as well when I when I took the course in 2011, because I could feel that I needed it, but I was not exactly open to it. I thought that I was just going to be kind of hanging out with the people because I had already been certified to be a coach. but there was another level of work that I needed to do. And so I was able to get that done inside of the certification with Masterforce because nobody ever knew I was a coach before that. Not many, I'll say. But anyway, saying that to say I was able to put the pieces together and actually, again, bring it into manifest reality when I did the actual work in the Masterforce curriculum. My other trainer was very helpful to me as well, and it opened me up because everything along the journey gets us ready for what's next.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that Shemsu-t and I consistently talk with each other about because we're each other's buddy. So we're always listening for the what's next inside of this work that we're doing.
Yes.
So, wow. You were going to say something, Shemsu-t?
No, I was just agreeing.
Absolutely. Xavia, I am very excited for you to talk about what it is that you're bringing to market. What is going on? I know that it's kind of related to your expert project, but it's something else altogether, even at the same time. So will you talk about that, please?
Actually, I have 6 workshops that all have VIP days that they can also sign up for. I have a life planning course. One of the things that I am is a planner. You know, I was a corporate event planner forever, so I actually put this course together before for my kids so that they could stay on track, because I always said that if you don't have a destination and a plan on how to get there, you'll wind up just going around stopping at all the parties. So the life planning course actually helps you to, of course we start out breathing the center, but then we explore what your passion is. So I have combined what I had back then and I've tweaked it with what I learned within the course to come up with it's a 2-hour, 2-day life planning course. So I am packaging that for like colleges, high schools, state and county agencies, stuff like that. Youth and mentoring services. So that's who that is for, basically. And I also have an entrepreneur's course. It's called Balancing Business and Pleasure. And, of course, having been an entrepreneur for 17 years, I definitely know the challenges of, I was a single mom while I was running the business. So I definitely know the challenges of balancing that. So we get into Marv with that, and also into self-care. But I talk about setting boundaries, which is also part of self-care. And I insist on self-care because I was self-employed for so long. I know that, once 5:30 hits, I'm free. But before 5:30, you can't bother me because I'm working. So I have the entrepreneurship. I also have Achieving Sexual Freedom, which, of course, is part of my expert project. And it's a 3-part workshop. Part 1, I do talk about social and religious conditioning and how it affects our beliefs and behaviors, with regard to sex. Part 2 gets more into actual sacred sexuality with Kama Sutra and the Tantric, the Kundalini, and the tapping and things. And then I have a optional Part 3, which is more so for the girls' night outs and the bachelorette parties and stuff. So I want to be able to capture all of the market, see?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Then I also have a spirituality and law of attraction workshop because, as you can tell, I'm very passionate about the law of attraction. And so for people who are interested in learning more about it, as well as those who are kind of in limbo, because there's a lot of people that I think the mega churches and all that kind of stuff are kind of pushing people away at this point. So a lot of people are at a point where they're looking for that balance. And once you can get people in touch with their spirituality and not with religion and not connecting it to just the Bible, once they learn universal laws and the law of attraction, because one of the things that was said earlier, and also one of the things I was listening to on YouTube University, the pin is going to drop. Whether you believe it's going to drop, gravity is there and it's going to happen. And the law of attraction, it works whether you work it or not. Whatever you think about is going to expand. And people need to understand how we're conditioned and why things happen the way that they do. Because we come into this world being told that we're sinners right off Jump Street. We are sinners undeserving of anything. So right off
So
jump,
your self-worth is being affected the moment you can oversee
yes.
the conversation.
As soon as somebody tells you something, you are a sinner and you doomed. So what are you attracting at that point?
Exactly.
You know, so I have the spirituality and law of attraction workshop. And, you know, of course, I cannot turn my back on what got Xavia Fox in where she is anyway. So I have 2 relationship workshops. One is called the 12 Secrets to Choosing the Right Mate, and the other one is Dating, Relationships, Sex, and You, which is the one I'm going to be doing at the conference in February.
Very cool. That is very cool.
And all of those come with, well, not come with, but they have the opportunity to sign up for VIP days so that they can have one-on-one, you know, intensive coaching if they so desire to follow up, especially the life planning course, because I would like to do, you know, at least monthly and maybe quarterly or whatever check-ins with them to make sure that they're actually following the blueprint and the to-do list. Because the life planning course, you actually put together a blueprint. We actually write out. So when you leave, you have a blueprint of where you're trying to get to, what you need to do to get there, and you walk out with a to-do list for who you need to call and what you need to do the next day to get on track.
That's wonderful.
I absolutely love that. This work of following your passion and being inside of this, all of this is so juicy. It's so exciting.
It's so exciting.
I was taking notes. When you post the information for the courses, I made sign up and whatnot.
Okay, I would love to have you in there.
It sounds like so much fun, and I love how, as a coaching community, we get to interact with each other at the level of becoming a student to somebody who, you know, was a student for me. And so we learn through that process of going up and coming back down, being a teacher, being the student, because at all times we're both anyway.
Yes,
that's right. To actually embody both of those different roles, it really keeps us present to the fact that we are consistently the student and we are consistently the teacher. So I love that. I got excited listening to your description.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited too. It is definitely, I definitely feel like I'm walking in my passion now. And they say, you know, if you are walking in your passion, you never work a day of your life. So this is just like a party.
Absolutely true. I love that.
Yes, indeed. It is a party.
I love that. My father told me when I was a little girl, he said, daughter, if you can make your avocation your vocation, meaning do what you love, you will never work a day in your life. You'll be set. Right.
Wow.
And I'm grateful that you shared that again. Now, you clearly answered the question I was going to ask you. As a coach, are you going to be accepting new clients? Well, you have already answered that. And you have already shared what your area of expertise is. How do people get in touch with Xavia Fox?
Okay, the quickest way to get in touch with me, of course, is by email, which is xaviafox1@yahoo.com. Everybody can remember Yahoo is just a popular, you know, host. So Xavia Fox, Xavia, Xavia Fox, Fox, the number 1 at yahoo.com. Of course, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter as Xavia Fox. You can find me on all of those. My website will be up soon. It is still under construction, but it should be up by the end of the weekend. And that will be www.xaviafoxspeaks.com. And that will be all of the workshops and any of the public speaking engagements that you know, you could come and take a listen to, because I will be doing just seminars, maybe free seminars, you know, and just some free stuff, and we'll have the workshops on there. You can sign up for them and all that other kind of good stuff. So the website will be Xavia Fox Speaks, and I chose that because, of course, everybody knows that my talk show was Xavia Fox Talks. So in the talk show I talk, and public speaking I speak. See?
I love that.
All righty now.
How much fun is that? I love that.
I do too. Very cool.
Very good. Shemsu, what else would you like to share about the expert projects, about the Ignite Your Soul connection. What would you like to share?
Well, I just want people to know that we have consistently given this program, this is Ignite Your Soul Connection 5. You can go over to our website and make a donation. Really, our community, if we would just support each other, if we would really support the things that nurture us, we could really get a lot more from it. The universe actually acknowledges a wealth exchange. So when someone is generous to you and they give you something, you literally can get more by looking to see how you can be generous, right? So we do have a donation tab at masterforceinc.com. And I'm just really requesting that you look at that. I had someone inbox me a couple of weeks ago, whatever, because they were infuriated that when the Michael Brown incident was going on, that the policeman that actually shot Michael Brown, that he had received over $500,000 from a Kickstarter, some kind of, that his community had raised $500,000 for his defense fund, and then ABC had given him $500,000 for an interview. So this man does something, and now he is a millionaire.
That's
so
crazy.
I can hear that, but I want you to look at something. I want you to see that they support their community. I don't care, right, wrong, whatever. They support each other. So instead of looking and talking about they shouldn't do it, we need to really get clear about what it means to support your community. Mm-hmm. You can criticize all day long, but this man is still going to have a good life financially. I don't know how he's going to do spiritually and emotionally, but financially, he'll be okay. Here's the other thing. I don't know, for those of you who have children, if somebody came in my house and said that my son or daughter did something, I'm going to support them. I'm not going to support out there that somebody said they did. I'm going to first support them, right, wrong, or indifferent, right? So everybody has a right to be supported by their community. Where do we get off that he should be castrated by his family? Because, if anything, he needs all the support he can get, just like Michael Brown and his family need support. You don't have to take from one to give to the other. Everybody can support each other. So I'm asking you to really look inside of a conversation and see how can you support the community of Master Force that does so much generously to support you. Did I get on a soapbox too much?
That is wonderful. You can dust your shoes off and get off, but while you were up there, it was what's up, and it's very important. it's very important for us to really have a clear look at what it is that we're actually doing. And so one of the things that I know is that I frequently get inboxes and I frequently get people reaching out to me, asking me, Iccha Devi, how would you handle this? This is what's going on. I have people that go to the different pages that I put up where I share levels and levels of information about how to heal, nurture, and support yourself. I share other people's information. I spend time making videos myself to share information that has nurtured my body on IDTV, Iccha Devi TV, my YouTube channel. So there are things that we have put out as a Master Force community and just as individuals. And I love what you said, Shemsu-t. The wealth conversation exists to let us know that there is enough for everyone.
Yes.
We are now learning, and we support you in the learning of how to support that which nurtures you. So if you've gone to the Master Force pages, inbox Shemsu, inbox me, inbox anybody asking questions about how will I do this and so forth, like she said, consider going over to masterforceinc.com and pressing the donate button and just giving a little something of yourself and recognizing that you are actually supporting yourself. I think that the work that a lot of people do in the world is magnificent. However, to consistently come to me and ask me a question, but then go and pay somebody else for a course, I mean,
Hello.
I mean,
I just want, you know, my book. I think I've sold 10 books. I'm thinking, wow, this is very interesting. I have over 5,000 friends. No, 12 books, and consistently have people in my inbox on a daily basis, and I answer. I do because I share this with the coaches as well. It's important for us to keep giving our gifts, regardless to if people get it or not. Keep giving your gifts. Keep being generous. Do not get selfish and petty and small because people don't recognize your generosity. Keep giving your gifts. So we did this now for 5 years, and it takes time and it takes consistency and commitment. And as a king of club, this is the expertise that I bring to the table. And that's a different conversation, right?
yes, that is quite a different conversation. We'll get into that. I'm sure we'll ignite our soul connection about that at some point as well. And the topic of generosity and the topic of sharing and giving, I know that it is a topic that we're growing inside of, and we nurture and support that with our consistent generosity. And so if you're feeling so moved, make sure that you go over to masterforceinc.com and make a donation. And also, if you are touched by this conversation, sit with that inside of yourself, because there may be a seed that's planted there. Maybe today is not your day to give. Maybe you're learning, and maybe it's tomorrow for you. I don't know, but I
And
do
then you
know.
share the knowledge. Yeah, share the link.
Yes.
And then the other thing is, Xavia I think she had 6 or 7 workshops that she just listed, right? If you're interested in that, make sure that you send her an email or look for a way to connect with her so that you nurture your relationships and you nurture your sexuality and you nurture your energy of expansion. That's another way to support people, by taking their classes and buying their products.
Absolutely. I love that you shared that during this time frame, because I know that a lot of people are inside of the conversation of the holy days of Christmas and Thanksgiving and gifting in that way. And when we learn, as we have been sharing for these 5 conferences that we've shared, that this is the time frame to take your energy and to be in a connected space, to take your energy and go into a meditative space of creating what we're going to see blossom in the spring. This is our time for sowing our seeds, our spiritual seeds. And when the springtime comes, you will be so gifted by what you observe that comes up from the energy that you plant right now as you go through and do this work with us. So we are more than overjoyed that you have chosen to join us inside of the Ignite Your Soul Connection. We are getting towards a wrap up. Final words from the ladies. What do you have? Final words. Xavia, you go first. Mushu Su needs to catch her breath.
Okay. I can't believe how fast this went, you know, because I was saying, are we going to really talk for 90 minutes? But yeah, I guess we really did that. I guess the final thing that I want to say is just I would be a bad girl and my buddy would get me if I didn't mention the conference February 7th and 8th at Michelle Clark High School in Chicago, Illinois, Finding Your Happy Relationship Summit. And as Iccha mentioned earlier, she is part of it, as well as Shemsu-t. I said it right.
Yes, you did.
And there are 6 other ladies as well. 2 of them are also Master Force graduates. We have domestic violence advocates and abuse advocates. So whatever your issue is with regard to relationships or getting yourself whole again, we definitely have someone that can address that for you. Again, that is February 7th and 8th, 2015 at the Michelle Clark High School in Chicago, Illinois. And I just love you ladies. I have enjoyed this conversation. I feel so honored to have you 2 on here with me. I feel like I'm a big girl now.
Right. That's so cute.
Oh God, I love that. I love the fact that we all do this work, and I can see that we're all fans of each other too, because I feel the same way about you all, and I'm very grateful that I will be part of your summit in February, presenting my class called the Puswa Sutras, which is a way for women to get in touch with the gifts that they have inside of their womanness. So.
How come I want to take your course? I want to come to that course, and I'll be teaching another one. I'm a little upset about that.
I know, right? So we're going to have to rotate it around somehow.
Right,
so we all want to take each other's classes. We're going to be teaching our own class. So, I'm excited about that. And I have worked with about 60 or so women intimately inside of the conversation of nurturing our avatar by really getting connected to our sexuality and working with crystals. So we work with yoni crystals to help to balance and nurture our energy and to heal. And I have some over here in the window getting some sunlight, but beautiful crystals. This is a beautiful obsidian, black obsidian crystal, and this absorbs negativity. And
now, where does that? What do you do with? What exactly do you do with that? Where does that go?
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
It goes inside of your sacred space.
We're still alive.
We're still alive. Yes. So I'm grateful to be able to share that with the. Oh boy, we taken a left and then another left. This is what happens when we get together. So we held it together really, really well tonight. I could tell we're getting a little cagey at the end, but because this is how we get down all the time. But anyway, I digress. So yes, I'm grateful to be a part of the summit that is coming February 6th and 7th. Did I say the dates right?
7th and 8th.
7th and 8th at Michelle Clark School in Chicago. And that is 2015, of course, February.
Yep.
Very good. Shemsu-t, final words, and then I'll close us out.
Yeah, I just want to, again, Iccha, acknowledge you for, just taking time off from your life to do this every night, to facilitate these conversations, to support the movement of this work in so many different ways. You are my go-to person, and I love how you listen for the expansion of the conversations that we bring up every day. So there's always something next for us, and I appreciate that about you. And Xavia Fox, I too fell in love with you when I first met you, and it was just, it was something very, very connecting for us, and that was years ago. And so for you to come around now and to be a certified Master Force coach, it really gives me an opportunity to get to know you, to support you, to be supported by you, to be encouraged by you, and just to be inspired by your conversations. Sometimes I have to stay away from your heat. Sometimes you say, Shemsu-t, can you say something? I'll be like, no, I can't touch that.
I just be trying to get, I just want to get your opinion on some stuff.
I know. And I think one time I told you, I said, with this, my opinion would be very long. On some things. But I am excited that you're in the Master Force family. And, you're just such a wonderful addition for everyone else that's there. And so I know that we're going to be together for the rest of our lives now.
That's right. This one and the next one, because we just keep on recycling.
Exactly, because this really is our soul family. I'm
exactly
so clear about that. We're finding one another, and everyone who's supposed to be here, they're here.
Right.
And it's such a beautiful, and even tomorrow night we're talking about buddies and mentors, and we'll get to even see how that works out, because that's just such a beautiful, magical process as well. So just thank you for your time and your energy and your expertise, and I love both of you dearly.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for asking me to do this. This is great.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you both so much. And just as Shemsu-t stated, first of all, thank you guys again for joining us inside of this conversation. As you can see, we're very excited to share this gift with you ongoingly. And join us tomorrow when our conversation will be buddies, and we will have Master Force Coach Dr. Marlene Fain, myself, and Shemsu-t also will be here. And we invite you to listen in. Go back and listen to our other topics. You can listen to previous lectures at igniteyoursoulconnection.com. You can also go to the Master Force page to purchase Shemsu-t's book, The New Goddess Agenda. You can also go there and make a donation if you like. So that's all that we have for you this evening. Again, thank you very much for joining us. We are overjoyed to share this gift with you. And we are ascending. One love.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.